Alright, what's going on, guys? Raptor NLN here, bringing you another Blue Eyes White Dragon deck profile, or should I say Danger, Invoked, Blue Eyes, miscellaneous other stuff. This is an update of my previous video. This video was intended to be a lot different because I was originally incorporating the Thunder Dragons into this with Colossus. Because I really wanted like a good solid like first turn, like going first play to bring out Colossus and kind of floodgate the opponent and then go for OTK on like second turn or potentially, but with Colossus getting banned, it's kind of a screwed idea now. But let me know if you guys want me to still show that. It was a really fun deck to play. Surprisingly super consistent. I really, well, I mean, like, obviously you still brick sometimes, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh, but like it was, in my opinion, like it was pretty decent. Like I really enjoyed playing the deck, and I was really sad to find out when they hit Colossus. But there are a few changes that I've made. This deck can play on Master Rule 4 or Master Rule 5 or whatever you want to call it. It can play both rule sets. It does not have a problem functioning on either one, so that's another thing that I really like about it. I do feel that it's going to be slightly better on Master Rule 5, but either way, I mean, you still pull off the same combos regardless. So without further ado, let's get started. And to start things off, of course, we play 3 of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Still want to get those DDSs, but for right now, this Japanese Secret Rare, I mean, it's my favorite so far. I honestly almost want to say that I like it equally as good as the DDSs, just because like it's got like the new school look to it, but also like the classic look at the same time. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I don't know if anybody else feels that way about some of the Japanese cards, but they look awesome. Next, 2 alternative, and I did finally, I've been waiting for this card to get reprinted Secret Rare for so long, and as soon as I heard that the movie pack was coming out, Secret Rare Edition, I was like, yeah, we got to do this. If you guys have not seen that video, I did make a booster box opening of that, if you want to check that out. But yeah, I pulled a lot of good stuff. So 2 is still great though. I hate 3. I hate bricking on the 3rd one. It's just so cloggy. And I mean, if it wasn't like a hard once per turn, I'd say yeah, run 3, but 2 works in my opinion. 2 is good. Next, I play 1 Malefic Blue Eyes White Dragon. I believe that's new, kind of a new change from my previous video. This is essentially my 3rd alternative. Like, this thing is amazing. And obviously, I play Invoked, like I mentioned before. So you have that field spell to where you just banish a Blue Eyes out of your deck, which you don't even really care. It doesn't hurt you in any way, shape, or form. Play this for free. Play an alternative. Now you got a rank 8. And it's searchable with Melody, and it's a dark for so many different reasons. So yeah, one Malefic Blue Eyes is good. Now, the one card that I have brought into this is the 1 Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. Now, this is not in any way, shape, or form a pure Chaos deck at all, or Chaos Max deck at all. I just feel like this is good as a one-of, because it's like it's an extender slash, like OTK based thing. Like, it's something to put on the board, and like when it comes up, it comes up, and if it doesn't, like, it's fine. You have so many resources to like get rid of this card if it's dead in the hand, or there's a few other things I'll talk about when I get further in the deck profile. But yeah, 1 is good. There's times where I wish I had it and didn't have it, and then there's also times where it's like, man, this thing, I can, you can always side it out too if you feel like you don't need it. Next, I still run the 2-1 ratio of the stones. I still love this ratio. I feel like it's the most consistent ratio. This effect, it comes in handy, but like I don't find myself really using it that much. Like, I don't depend on it, so this is kind of my better option. Next, I play the 1 Chaos Dragon Livionaire. Super good. Like, probably the greatest extender of, I'm not gonna say of all time, but it's right up there with it. I mean, just the decks that can abuse this is just so good. But only 1 because it's searchable. and I feel like more than that would get cloggy. And then we are still running the Danger package, 2 Bigfoot, 2 Thunderbird, and then the 1 Nessie. I do like this ratio. I was playing around with Mothman, which I think is another good option if you want to drop like a Thunderbird, just to kind of help that consistency a little bit. And another fun little thing that I like to do is you could play Trishula in this deck with the Danger engine. Like if you switch these for Mothman or, you know, the Chupacabra or whatever. I thought that was kind of fun because he's kind of one of my favorite synchros. But all in all, like, I feel like this is just kind of a better ratio. I don't find myself, like, I special summon them, yes, of course, which I'd seen on the previous video. Somebody had mentioned running Jackalope, and like the main reason is to like pull these out of the deck. I mainly like these for their popping effects, like destroying a face up or destroying a face down, because like that baits out my opponent to either negate it so that I can continue my other plays, or, you know, I just, you know, I get to move on and, you know, push for more damage or whatever I'm doing. So that's why. And I love drawing this card with a Melody, because then I get to search no matter what. Like, you can Ash Blossom the Melody, but I'm gonna get probably a Bigfoot to continue my plays. So that's why Nessie's in here. There's so many times that Nessie has come in clutch, like especially if there's a problematic card on the field and like you draw into the Nessie and that's like your only card. Like, Nessie's just great. Next, I'm still running the 2 Galaxy Soldier. I am playing Infinity. I still feel that that's like a solid combo. There again, if Galaxy Soldier gets negated, banished, whatever, you can still link him away. You can still, you know, you can tribute him for something if, you know, if you're in that big of a bind or just whatever. And the fact that he searches himself is just, it's great. It's more hand fodder. And then last for the monsters, I run 2 Alistair, the Invoker. 2 is great, 3 is great. There again, I'm pretty sure I said that in the last video. But I just find there's not enough space that I can find in the deck without cutting like a major combo to run 3 of these. And then I personally would not run one of these just because he's just too universal. Plus he's like an Ash Blossom bait in my opinion. So next, 1 Pot of Desires. Now this is kind of the card where it's like Chaos Max is kind of either good or not, because if you banish, say like, because I'm running a very small ritual engine for it, like super small, probably the smallest that you can really run. But yeah, if you banish any of the pieces to where you can't bring them out, it's not a waste, because you usually just summon a Macabre and then you can look and be like, okay, well I banished everything to it, so I'll just discard him, or, you know, at that point you can play your dangers and not worry about if it gets hit. So so yeah, 1 Desires though. I don't want to draw into Desires. That's like my biggest fear. 3 copies of Trade-In. This is pretty much it for your draw power, the Pot of Desires and the Trade-Ins. 3, considering the fact that there's like 9 targets, 3, 5, 6, yeah, there's like 9 or 10 targets, 11 targets still, so very relevant. Melody of the Awakening Dragon at 3. I mean, it's just your main searcher. You can search there again, the Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, any Blue Eyes stuff, Chaos Max, Malefic Blue Eyes, it all falls under the same category. And then you can discard like your dangers to get their effects. You can discard any cards you don't need in your hand. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure every Blue Eyes deck plays like 3 of these. I did try running it at 2 at one point before I had like all the other like Blue Eyes stuff, like the Malefic and everything. And like that worked because the only targets I had was Alternative and Blue Eyes, so it wasn't too bad, but I still like it at 3. And then next I run 2 Magical Meltdown and 2 Invocation. The double Invocation is mostly because I play Desires, and I really don't want to banish both copies, but it still does happen every once in a while. So it's not a huge loss, but it definitely hurts a little bit. So I try to just play 2 and 2, so in that way hopefully I see it before I banish it. Because you only play 1 normal summon in the deck, so 9 times out of 10, like if you're gonna normal summon, you're gonna have it. So next I played 2 Return of the Dragon Lords. I only played 2. I still think 3 is a brick, but I think it's too good in the deck. I want to play 3, but I don't have the room, and I don't want a brick. So 2 is good. And then for the last of the revival cards, I'm playing 1 Monster Reborn. It's Monster Reborn. You pretty much never brick as long as with this, as long as like your opponent plays a monster or sends a monster to the graveyard or whatever. It's just too universal. Bring back Cyber Dragon Infinity. All kinds of crazy nutty stuff. Next, I played 2 Called by the Grave, which I think this is new from the last profile as well. I want to play 3 of this, but there again, I really don't have the space. But it is probably one of my favorite spell cards of all time anymore. Just because like hand traps are a problem, zombies can be a problem with whatever their main boss monster's name is. I don't remember his name at this time, but yeah, super good. I've played it at 3 and I've played it at 2. If you want to make a cut, I mean you can play the 3rd one, but I like it at 2 so far. It seems to be working. 2 Dark Ruler No More. This card, I love this card. Like, this card just kind of brings the game back into your favor. Like, you don't care about dealing life points. If you can just, you know, kind of take control of the situation that you have against you, and then, you know, follow up with next turn, you're probably going to win. So, Dark Ruler No More gets you out of a lot of those jams when somebody plays, like, a random, you know, like, Fossil Dino or whatever to prevent you from special summoning or whatever. Like, it doesn't shut you down. And same with the dangers. That's why I like playing the dangers at the ratio as I do. And then finally, 2 Chaos Form. There again, I play Desires, so I wanted to mostly the reason I play this at 2 though, aside from Desires, is I want to see this more than I want to see Chaos Max. Because if I see this in a Melody, I've got Chaos Max. Like, I've got more ways to search Chaos Max versus this. It's either I see it or I don't. So essentially, that's why I play 2. You could cut this for the 3rd Call by the Grave and just play 1. You could cut it all together and play, like, you know, 3 Dark Ruler No More, 3 Call by the Grave. Another thing I would like to incorporate into the deck, and what it might get cut for, is some traps, so that like Makaba has a negate for trap cards. Some traps I've been thinking about is like Solemn Morning, or no, sorry, Solemn Judgment. Definitely Solemn Judgment, or Evenly Matched is another one, or Infinite Impermanences if you kind of want to stay like on more of a hand trap / trap route. I found that to be pretty good too. But overall, so far, I kind of like the deck the way that it is, so just keep it like that. Now for the extra deck here at the Field Center. So starting off with the Synchro package, just the Azurize and the Spirit. I feel kind of naked if I don't play this in a Blue Eyes deck. I don't know why. I really don't use these like hardly at all, especially the Azurize. The Spirit comes in handy against like Pendulums and Graveyard decks, obviously, but all in all, like, I really don't go into these that much, but they're nice to have. A little bit of a rarity bump, but we still have the Cyber Dragon Nova and Infinity. So obviously we know why we're playing this with Galaxy Soldier package. Bring out your Nova, and there again, the nice thing that I like about Nova, because I'm playing Makaba for the Invoked engine, so if this gets destroyed, you know, in process before you bring this out, you can bring out a Makaba, and it's, you know, it's still like a solid play. So really like that about Nova. It's kind of a nice little touch. Next, I do play the 1 Dragged Lubian. This is kind of the card that I think will make the deck better in Master Rule 5 than Versus 4. You can still use this, and at the end of the profile I'll kind of show like probably the main combo that I come into from time to time. But yeah, 1 of these, and then to follow up with that, I play the 1 Hope Harbinger and the 1 number 62 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon. Now this card is amazing because the new 5-headed Link monster that's like kind of a pain to get over, he gets over it. Like, I have a new love for this card like never before. It gets over the Dark Magician fusion card because, you know, if you bait out the negate effect, you can just attack over it. It gets over so many problematic cards that I never thought about, which I really like. So, and it's a little bit easier to make. It's actually super easy to make, just 2 level 8s. So I do suggest running this at 1, but I mean, you can cut it if you decide to play something else. But I really like it. And then to wrap up the last Link, or XYZ, one Dingirsu. In my opinion, super relevant. It's protection, it's spot removal, it's everything you really need, honestly. So, and there again, like Master Rule 5 or 4.5 or whatever we want to call it here, this will kind of get better too, because you just pull it out and you don't have to rely on a link zone. So, but that's it for the XYZs. I only play 2 Link monsters, and that is Salamangreat, Alamajra, and I know I'm gonna butcher that one, and Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. These are kind of the 2 MVPs. I like Borreload. I like running the Alistair, the Invoker of Madness Link monster. Either one of those are good too. Skulldred's okay. But all in all, I just found that this is the only 2 that you actually really need and use consistently. So, I mean, Decode Talker's another alternative to this if you want to go like more of a protection route as well. Like the Chaos Soldier is just, he's a beast. So I highly recommend him if you can get him. And then for the Invoked package, we're playing the Fire and then the 2 Macabre. It's the only 3 that I feel is necessary. The new one that's coming out looks pretty interesting. Like, I might try to fit him into the deck when he comes out, but until then, this is kind of my ratio, and so far I have not had any problems with it whatsoever. I haven't found myself wanting any more or less, so super happy with this. And then the last 2 monsters of the extra deck, I'm playing 1 Blue Eyes Twin Burst and 1 of the Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. Now, one thing I will say about this card is the only way you can pull it out is with Invocation and 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons in your hand. So you're not going to get the pop 3 effect. But what this is for is essentially if I brick and I open up 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons and an Invocation, and say I'm stuck going first, because this has happened. I don't really want to start my first turn with Twin Burst, especially when I can contact fuse form later. I'd really just rather stick this on the board because it's essentially like a stronger Chaos Max still at the end of the day, and I can still pop a card. So this hardly ever comes up, but it's in here for that 1 or 2 rare occasions where you're just dead in the water and can't really do anything. So that's kind of nice. I also wouldn't knock you for playing the Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate, because that's kind of a good card too. You can send the Twin Burst, attack again. You could bump something else out of the deck and run 2 of it, so you get kind of protection there as well. But I like the new alternative Ultimate Dragon. Pretty solid card. And then side deck, I don't even know if I showed this last time, I can't really remember, but for the side deck, I mean, obviously it's up to personal preference, but I am running triple Nibiru for pretty much, you know, crowd control, triple Kaiju for those decks that just play like a single monster and don't really special summon a ton. So like, I want to have that versatility to get rid of that problematic monster regardless. Triple Cosmic Cyclone, that's more or less for the Mystic Mind decks that are running around. The you know, anything that has problematic, you know, back row or anything like that I need to just get rid of to start the plays. That's kind of what that's for. And then to kind of follow up, triple Royal Decree, and then triple anti-spell fragrance. Royal Decree for the trap decks, obviously, and then the anti-spell fragrance for pendulums, for anything that heavily relies on spells more than my deck. And then I kind of just side these in with the Cosmic Cyclones if it's like a real heavy back row deck, which is kind of the only thing that I can't all the time deal with, especially if it goes kind of crazy. So that's kind of why this is the ratios that these are. So yeah, so let me know. I mean, obviously there's other stuff that you can play, like Ash Blossoms, or, you know, if you don't main the infinite impermanence, you can side deck those. I really have this deck built to focus on like any deck that you come across. Like I'm trying to be as versatile with it as I can, not just stick to like pure, you know, pure meta decks or anything. Like I want to be able to sit down and be like, okay, whatever's thrown my way, like I should have some sort of an out to it, and if I don't, like, you know, I probably either bricked, or obviously they just had, you know, more plays than I did at the time, or whatever the case. So, but that's kind of where I'm at with this. The Chaos Max is really the only like iffy thing I am on about that. So, but I really do kind of like the touch, because when he does come out, he usually does what you need him to do. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys' thoughts are. I do still want to try to do like a more pure variant, and I would like to do like a fusion base or like a Chaos Max deck profile, but I have such consistency issues with those, and like you're usually only good, in my opinion, for like 2 to 3 plays, and then you cap out and your opponent usually just plays around it. So but I will try to work on that, and then I will also be uploading a Cleefort deck, because I play those as well, and then also I will be uploading a surprise deck profile that my friends still don't know about. So but yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are, any changes or any, you know, criticism at all. I do not mind, I welcome that stuff. So but yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Okay, post deck profile. Totally forgot to do the combo section, so here we are. So I did want to showcase the main normal summon play that I do, and then I'm just gonna do like a test hand. So, but essentially, you know, we'll just throw like any light monster with this, and then obviously invocation. But essentially, so what your main play is, or at least my main play, is you start the duel. Either you have Alistair, or you search him with Magical Meltdown, or, you know, even if you don't, but this is just like a common play, or even a Whitestone of Legend you can do this with, for the most part. But you start off the game normal summoning Alistair, you search the invocation, and then you can link this away into the graveyard to summon the Salamangreat. And this is still operating off of like Master Rule 4, and now you can, you know, you have this in the graveyard, so now you can fusion summon for the Fire Invoked fusion, if you're going for like an OTK or anything like that, or if you happen to have a light monster. That's kind of where I was, you know, playing this as like any light monster. You can fuse for the Macabre, so now you've got protection here for your Macabre, you've got a negate on board, you've got Alistair back in hand to add attack points if you need to later, or whatever the case may be, and you still have, like, you know, potentially 3 to 4 other cards in your hand to play off of. So that's kind of like my main combo, and like what I like to do. But yeah, we'll just go through kind of a test hand too, so that I can kind of show you, like, hopefully, you know, what the deck is somewhat capable of. And obviously this isn't a real duel. I'll have to make some real duel videos for you guys. Let me know if you guys would enjoy that, and then yeah, we can kind of showcase that a little bit. So, like, starting off, Melody, Malefic Blue Eyes, Return of the Dragon Lords, Alternative, and Call by the Grave. So this hand is essentially not bad at all. Let's say if we were going second. Okay, so I've got Cast Dragon Luminaire. This is almost what I would consider a brick at the same time, but like you still have plays, because you can, you know, if I'm going second, I don't feel I need the Call by the Grave. I can send it with Melody, search out, you know, Blue Eyes and Chaos Max if I want, or you know, the other alternative just to pull it out of the deck so that I don't have to worry about banishing it. But then, you know, you can special summon your alternative. And then, you know, kind of sit on it. That is kind of a bad example, I'm not gonna lie, because like that's one of those kind of like somewhat bricky hands where you can't really do a lot. But in there again, like it really just depends on like what your opponent plays too, because like if your opponent played a field spell, you could play that Malefic Blue Eyes and you know, run like an overlay at that point or whatever the case. So let's try another. I swear if we get the same thing. Okay, see, so like this is kind of like more like my ideal like opening hand. It's not even like, you know, like the greatest, but it's, you know, a start. Like I said, you can normal summon the Alistair, do that whole combo. You can discard either the Melody or the Call by the Grave and search out more, you know, Blue Eyes alternative. So, you know, you can pretty much, you know, your board essentially will end up looking like this. And, you know, depending on how this hits, I mean, you can have Bigfoot, and we'll just say like an alternative for you know, time purposes and everything. But one of the main combos that I really wanted to showcase, and this is more of a Master Rule 4 specific combo, is going into this, let's say off of a stone, like if we had like the White Stone of Legend, got the Blue Eyes or whatever, but played this off the stone, you didn't have Alistair, you can't make the negate. What you can do that I like, is you can like overlay, you know, say you can make a rank 8 and overlay for the Draglubian. You can send this to target him to get rid of this extra deck space, and then use his effect to bring out either Hope Harbinger or Prime Photon Dragon, whichever one you need or prefer at the time. So that's kind of another cool little trick. And yeah, so that was it for kind of the combo portion to add on, and that was my fur babies adding on their commentary. So yeah, peace out, guys.